welcome back to My Mom Life. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Jordan, and today it's Fall Food Friday. I'm making some yummy apple pie bars, and I can't wait to share the recipe with you. Let's get started. So like I said, today is Fall Food Friday. What that means is this is a collaboration with Falon over at Moss Family TV. She's been putting this collaboration together for a few years now, and it is awesome. There's so many good recipes that have been shared over the years, and today I am sharing with you some apple pie bars. I can't wait to see what everybody else is sharing. I will have Falon's channel in the description box below, as well as the link to the playlist. So let's get right into making these apple pie bars. There are quite a few steps to this, so I'm gonna start out with the crust, and then we'll move on to the filling and the topping, and then a yummy caramel sauce is drizzled on top. Not sure if I'm making it homemade yet or not. We'll see. I might just use store-bought there, to be completely honest, but these are gonna be delicious. Let's get started. I'm gonna start with the ingredients for the crust of these apple pie bars. So it is a shortbread type of crust, so I have my ingredients out here. I have flour, butter, sugar, vanilla, and salt. We're going to get this brought together, and then we're going to put it in an 8x8 pan, which I'm going to get ready in just a second. I have my oven preheating to 300 degrees, so let's get to making our crust. I have my 8x8 pan lined with parchment paper here, ready to go. So I'm going to start by combining the melted butter with the sugar and the vanilla extract and the salt. Now I'm going to add in the flour, and I'm just going to stir it until it is combined, and then we're going to press it in the bottom of our pan. This crust is gonna bake for 15 minutes in a 300-degree oven, and while it is baking, we will make the filling and the topping that goes on our apple pie bars. Okay, I'm just going to do my best to get this spread out in the bottom of my pan. All right, I've got it as even as I can get it, so I'm gonna pop this in the oven for 15 minutes. Now that we have the crust in the oven, I'm gonna go ahead and make the apple filling. So I have 3 apples. I'm using Granny Smith apples because when I'm making apple pie and things like that, I like to use Granny Smith. I just like the tartness, and I think that they hold up well. So I have 3 green apples that I have peeled and sliced into thin slices like that. You could use whatever apple you want, and actually the recipe calls for 2 apples, but mine were kind of small, so I went with 3. And then I have 2 tablespoons of flour, 2 tablespoons of white sugar, and then we have some cinnamon and nutmeg here. So we are going to combine all of this for the apple filling, and then we're going to make a streusel that will go on top of that. So I'm just going to put my apples in a bowl. I'm using a Christmas bowl for this Fall Food Friday video. And then we're just gonna sprinkle our apples with the sugar and flour and cinnamon and nutmeg. We just want to stir this up and make sure our apples get nice and coated in all of that. The flour is going to make this sauce that the apples are gonna create thicken up a little bit so it's not super runny, and then the sugar will add some sweetness to the tart green apples. I cannot wait to see what everybody else is making for their Fall Food Friday video. I've been making fall-ish food for the past month, I feel, but it's fun to do these collabs, especially with such wonderful ladies, and get lots of good ideas for this season. Okay, I'm gonna set these aside and now we're gonna make the streusel topping. For the streusel topping, I have half a cup of oats. These are old-fashioned oats. I have a 1/3 cup of brown sugar, a 1/4 cup of flour. I have half a stick of butter that I have cubed, and then we have some cinnamon here. So we're going to combine all of this to make the streusel topping. First, I'm gonna combine the oats with the flour and the brown sugar and cinnamon. And now I'm just going to take my butter, and I have a pastry cutter here, or you could use 2 forks, however you want to do it. And my butter is cold, and I'm just going to work that in to the oats and flour and sugar until it becomes crumbly, and that will be our topping. Okay, I have my streusel topping ready. I have my apple filling ready. So now, as soon as my crust is done in the oven, I'm gonna pull it out and we're gonna put this all together, and we're gonna be baking up some delicious apple pie bars. We're gonna bump our oven up to 350 degrees. And once we get this all thrown together, it's gonna end up baking for 30 to 35 minutes until our apples are tender, and then we will let it cool. And we're going to drizzle it with some yummy caramel sauce. So yeah, as soon as my crust comes out, we'll throw it all together. Okay, my crust is now out of the oven. So what we need to do now is layer on our apples. So I'm just going to kind of layer on the apples as best I can. I don't want to just dump them right on because I want to make it look pretty, but you could definitely do it however you want to do it. So I'm just going to layer these on, and then we're going to top it with the streusel topping. And then I may or may not make some homemade caramel sauce to go on top. I haven't decided yet. I do have some pre-made caramel sauce that I could use, but I think it might be fun if I have time to make some homemade caramel sauce. So we will see. Okay, I got all of our apples on. Now we just want to top it with the streusel topping, and then we're gonna pop this in the oven, like I said, about 30 to 40 minutes until our apples are cooked and tender. So into the oven this is gonna go. I did bump my oven up to 350. I don't know if I said that or not. So yeah, 350, 30 minutes to 40 minutes, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's all done baking. Okay, my apple pie bars are done baking, and they've actually been cooling, and I refrigerated them for a few hours so that they're nice and cold so that I can cut them. I'm just gonna remove them, and that makes for super easy cleanup in my dish. And I went with store-bought caramel sauce just for the sake of time, but if I was making these for a get-together or you know, something special, I would make homemade caramel sauce. So I'm just gonna cut them into 9 squares, and then we will drizzle them with the caramel sauce. But I want to show you, hopefully you can see the layers here. So we have the shortbread crust, the apples, and then the streusel topping. Yum, yum. So let me get the caramel sauce. All right, so I have them on my tray. And I am just going to drizzle on our caramel sauce, and then they're ready to eat. You could warm these up with some vanilla ice cream. Oh my gosh, that would be so good. Or even some whipped cream. Here are our finished apple pie bars. You can see the layers there of the shortbread, the apples, and the streusel. These are so delicious. I hope that you try this recipe. I will have it linked for you in the description box, as well as Falon's channel and the playlist for Fall Food Friday. If you like these kinds of recipes and fall-inspired food, then come back for all of the Fridays in October. I believe there's gonna be Fall Food Friday going on throughout October, so all of the Fridays coming up, we should have some fall recipes for you in the playlist. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on my next one. Bye, guys.